What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to TTP Sports, and the Phillies salvaged this final game of the series against the Los Angeles Dodgers as they beat them this afternoon by a score of 2-1. Ranger Suarez getting more of that pitch count up there, able to go, let's say, a little more deeper into the ball game. He managed to get to the fifth, but he had to get taken out just because the pitch count was getting a little higher, and then, he was allowing a couple of base runners. But overall, I would say it was a pretty solid performance out of Ranger Suarez, a pretty good performance out of the bullpen in general, even though that ninth inning, Alfonso Marquez, the umpire behind the plate, missed probably 2-3 third strike calls that probably would have prevented the Phillies from getting into that bases loaded situation to begin with, and it also makes it more stressful for the Ian Kennedy experience, even though I would say overall Ian Kennedy has been pretty decent. He hasn't been terrible, even though he has allowed a couple of home runs, but still pretty decent, but still, those non-third strike calls were just absolute garbage. He was pretty much bad the entire day for both sides. A very tight strike zone. It always feels like when Ranger Suarez is on the mound, the strike zone is for some reason insanely tight, and he can't get any of the corners called for him. It just feels like that. I have no idea, but still, it went for both ways. The Dodgers even had a lot of calls that most likely did not go their way, especially one that was a ground ball for Trey Turner, and it did score a run for the Dodgers, but for some reason the umpire decided to call Trey Turner out, where it didn't even look like Brad Miller was even standing on first base. But I don't know why on the review they called him out. Is it a lack of evidence? Did they find something that was conclusive that showed Brad Miller was kept like an inch of his toe on the base or something like that? I have no idea. But hey, I guess the Phillies will take it at that point, which means I will take it. But still, umpiring not the best in this game should be the summary of that. Bryce Harper hits another bomb in this ball game, and he continues to be hot. He was kind of left quiet in the first two games of the series, but he had a pretty decent day today as well. I think he went 1 for 2 walks in that home run. So Bryce Harper, I would guess, even though he's still on that basically on a hot streak at this point, just try to wake up a little bit more going into this series against the Reds, because we are definitely going to need the offense to step up, since the offense was basically kept quiet in all three of these games against the Dodgers. Ronald Torreyes continues to be red hot with the bat and with the glove as well. And hey, I would say not that much happened in this ball game. Didi Gregorius made a couple of nice plays too after that. That whole Trey Turner situation, made a nice diving play late in the ball game to get Trey Turner out. And a good old Andrew Knapp had 2 bases loaded chances, not able to cash in any of them. Classic Andrew Knapp. And it was also a bit of good news today too, before going into this ball game, that JT Realmuto, he passed his concussion protocol, and I guess he's still considered day-to-day. He wasn't available to catch today, but Joe Girardi did say he would have been available to pinch hit. So hopefully that is good news going into this series against the Reds, and hopefully JT will be back in the lineup tomorrow. And just like with the injuries this team has been getting recently, with the Odubel Herrera didn't play in this game, most likely it said it wasn't available, so I'm assuming his leg was acting up once again. You got Didi just coming back into the lineup a couple of days ago after he got hit in the elbow. You got Rhys Hoskins still with the groin issue, and you're getting a couple of bullpen guys going down to AAA, and then you're still going through this freaking Alec Boehm experience where you're not playing him, and he basically just doesn't deserve to play right now, and he's unplayable down the stretch because of how poor he has been defensively, and just how 100 times better Ronald Torreyes has been with the bat and the glove. So yeah, it's been a crazy couple of weeks here for this team. I wouldn't say a couple of weeks, couple of days here. But still, it's nice to get the salvage win for this series, and I would assume with this win, that means, because the Mets, they're having a doubleheader today with the Washington Nationals. They won the first game, so that originally moved them a half game back of the Phillies, which now with the Phillies win, they'd be a game back. So with the Mets win their second game of the doubleheader, they'll remain being a half game back of the Phillies. And right now the Phillies are a half game ahead of the Atlanta Braves for first place. And if the Braves win tonight against the Reds, they'll remain tied at first place. So hopefully we're cheering for the Reds tonight to beat the Braves, so the Phillies can at least be a game up in first place. So yeah, pretty not that much happened, I would say, during this ball game. A lot of things, it felt like it went by a little quickly, but then there were also a couple of things that did drag on, especially those 2 bases loaded situations, and also that 9th inning, which, was kind of horrid, and it also caused Joe Girardi to be thrown out of the ball game because, understandably, Alfonso Marquez just missing completely obvious strike calls. One to Cody Bellinger, the Corey Seager, he's just missing them. He is absolutely missing them. It's kind of annoying. And it annoyed Joe Girardi enough to get thrown out of the ball game. Understandably so. So going through this game, going through the runs that were scored. Bryce Harper, first inning, home run to the opposite field, 21st of the season, makes it a 1-0 Phillies lead to go into the 4th inning. Phillies got a couple of base runners on Bryce Harper, Didi Gregorius. Ronald Torreyes gets an RBI single to score Bryce Harper to make it a 2-0 ball game. Then you go top 50. Dodgers do respond eventually. This is when Ranger Suarez, he allows a couple of base runners to get on. Alfonso Marquez also missing a couple of strike calls as well. Leads to a walk. You get a man on first and second. Then you eventually get a pass ball by De Los Santos. Makes it a runners on second and third situation. Then you get a ground ball by Trey Turner. Originally it was called an out. On the replay, it was a nice play by Didi Gregorius to get the throw over there, though. But on the replay, it looked like Brad Miller's, foot wasn't on the bag, so we all assumed that the play was going to be safe, and the out was going to get taken away. But I don't know what I don't know what New York saw to make that. I don't know if it was a lack of evidence. I don't know if it was just, we're going to confirm this as an out. It was an out. It was an out. I don't know how, but the run did score, so it is a 2-1 Phillies lead after that, and that would be your only runs of the game. 4th inning, the Phillies have a bases loaded chance with Andrew Knapp. He flies out. He got a good wood on it, but he flied out to basically just the perfect spot where the fielder was. And then in the 6th inning, grounds out with the bases loaded. And he did come up a little shaky after that run hitting the first base. He came up a little limpy, but he managed to stay in the ball game. And also there was a situation in this ball game too where it was a fly ball. I think it was a deep fly ball, possibly by Cody Bellinger. I'm not sure who the batter was. Could have been Max Muncy, could have been Cody Bellinger, could be anyone in the Dodgers lineup. I forget who it was, but it was a fly ball. Looked like Bryce Harper, clear as sight, was going to grab the ball. Incoming Travis Jankowski out of nowhere, just taking the fly ball away from Bryce Harper. And then eventually later, Mickey Moniak came into the ball game. So I'm not sure if Joe Girardi elected to sit Travis Jankowski for that decision. It was a stupid decision by Jankowski because Bryce Harper obviously was calling for the ball. But, that was just a little something that I noticed there. Then you get to that 9th inning, which was just absolutely ridiculous. You get the first out of the inning, A.J. Pollock, so it was one pitch to him by Ian Kennedy. But then Corey Seager walks, you get Chris Taylor to fly out to Landry McCutchen. And then you get the Cody Bellinger walk, which, you know what happened there. And then you eventually... And that turned into Joe Girardi getting ejected also on that Corey Seager walk. He missed a 3rd strike call as well. So you got 2 missed strike calls in that inning. Then you get Will Smith getting hit by a pitch on a 3-2 count. So then here comes the stress. But then Billy McKinney flies out to Andrew McCutchen, calling everyone off, makes the grab, and that is how your ball game ends. Phillies winning 2-1. Pitchers today, a lot of them used. Ranger Suarez, he goes 4 1/3 innings, allows 3 hits, 1 earned run allowed, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Very solid performance out of Ranger Suarez. De Los Santos comes in. He pitches the last couple of outs in the 5th inning. He goes 2/3 of those, allowed a walk. He also did allow that run, but originally was credited to Ranger Suarez because those base runners were his responsibility. Hector Neris, he pitches an inning, gets 1 strikeout. Apparently, he was supposed to pitch a 2nd inning, but then Joe Girardi said that, was talking to the umpires, most likely that he wasn't going to pitch the other inning because he was dehydrated, which I can honestly say maybe it's understandable just because of how hot it was, because I think the heat index was like over 100. It felt like at least 102, 105, around that range. So, yeah, I can definitely understand maybe someone being dehydrated, but then if it's a hot day, why aren't you just chugging down the water bottles then to get yourself hydrated? But I think that's a little nitpicky there. I think Hector will be fine. Archie Bradley, he pitches 2 innings. Very solid performance out of him. No hits allowed, no walks, no runs, 1 strikeout. And then you get Ian Kennedy with the whole situation. Goes the full inning, doesn't allow a hit, walks 2 batters. Does not strike out anyone, but he manages to get the job done. For the lineup, Gene Segura in the leadoff spot, he goes 0 for 4 with a strikeout. Brad Miller goes 0 for 4 with a strikeout. Bryce Harper, he goes 1 for 2 with 2 runs scored, 2 RBI, well, 2 walks actually, and an RBI, and a strikeout. Andrew McCutchen, he goes 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Didi Gregorius, he goes 1 for 3 with a walk and a strikeout. Ronald Torreyes, he goes 1 for 3 with an RBI single. Travis Jankowski, he goes 0 for 1 with 2 walks on the night. Andrew Knapp, he goes 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Ranger Suarez actually got a hit in this ball game. A little bit of blooper into the infield, and you got him chugging up the first baseline, manages to get safe at first. So, Ranger Suarez can do it with both the pitching and the batting. Then you get Alec Boehm getting a pinch hit appearance. He goes 0 for 1 with a strikeout. And then you look at the runners in scoring position for this team. Weren't that many. 1 for 4. And a lot of those chances were with Andrew Knapp at the plate. They left 6 runners stranded on base. Looking at the standings just to, clear up that mind to make sure I was right. Yeah, so right now the Phillies, they are 5 games above 500. They are 60-55 in first place, a half game above the Atlanta Braves, who are 59-55 in second place. They have a game against the Cincinnati Reds, and if they win, they will be tied with the Phillies in first place. If the Mets win, they are a game back right now behind the Phillies. They are 58-55. If they win game 2 of their doubleheader against the Nationals, they will be a half game behind the Phillies and the Braves for first place. That's also including if the Braves win. I would assume if the Braves lose and the Mets win, the Mets will hop into second place and they'll be a half game behind the Phillies while the Braves will be a game out. It's going to be flip-flopping throughout the rest of the season, so not to be nitpicky by it. So looking at the rest of the schedule, we got a 3-game set going up against the Cincinnati Reds. So looking at game 1, if I can get the full pitching matchup right here, if it wants to, cooperate. Good old MLB app. It doesn't even want to load. The pitching matchup. Here we go. So we got, for Friday's game, we got Zach Wheeler on the mound coming off of his complete game against the New York Mets. He's 10-6 on the season, 2.42 ERA, 181 strikeouts. Going up against Tyler Mahle, who is 9-3 with a 3.78 ERA, 148 strikeouts. If we go into Saturday's game, we got Luis Castillo for the Cincinnati Reds. Going up most likely will be Matt Moore for the Phillies. And then for Sunday's ball game, 105 game, looks like it's going to be Aaron Nola and going up against Sonny Gray. Aaron Nola is 7-6 on the season, with a 4.35 ERA, 159 strikeouts. He had an impressive outing against the Dodgers on Tuesday. Sadly, it was cut short because of the rain delay, so hopefully he can find a way to continue that momentum. But with Aaron Nola this season, it hasn't been that case. Sonny Gray for the Reds, he's been very solid for them, but this year his numbers are a little iffy. 4-6 on the season, 4.4 ERA, 111 strikeouts. The Cincinnati Reds, they are kind of around the same record as the Phillies. They're 61-54. So basically, I would say this is more of an even matchup. And also going into this series too, Joey Votto has been red hot. He's just hitting home runs left and right. He had a multi-home run game the other night when the Reds blew that loss to the Ozzie Albies walk-off bomb. But he's still been red hot, and he's definitely a bat to watch out for. Also, Jesse Winker, he's been hot the entire year. So, yeah, the Reds are a heavily offensive team, so the Phillies pitching definitely needs to step up this weekend. And also, I would say the offense needs to wake up a little bit, too, after being quiet. I would say this entire series against the Reds, not against the Reds, against the Dodgers. Completely forgot who they played against. God damn. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. So you got this series up, and then you're going to have I would say a trap series against the Arizona Diamondbacks going out there to Arizona, and then you'll have a weekend set against the San Diego Padres. So the Phillies will be going out west this week. So let's see if they can try to win this final series at home before they go out west to face the Diamondbacks and the Padres. Let's see what happens. So, what are your thoughts on this video, everyone? What are your thoughts on this Phillies win? Bryce Harper, the bullpen, Ranger Suarez, that 9th inning, everything. I want to hear your thoughts and comments down in the comment section below. Do not forget to leave those down there. Do not forget to drop a like on this video, and don't forget to check out the Painted Lines, which I'm a part of. Their links are in the description below. Also, don't forget to check out Broads Media, the Florida Pod merchandise website, and also Flyers Nitty Gritty. All that good stuff is down in the description below. And the first thing the most important thing you can do is subscribe to the channel. I will greatly appreciate that if you do. And I will see you next time.